So today we're starting chapter 11, and we're only going to do the back half of chapter 11. So we're going to start with section 11.5, and I'm going to show you how we can graph another type of equation, which is called the square root graph. So for everything that we did in chapter 9, we were looking at graphing the parabola, that U-shaped curve. Now we're going to be graphing something called the square root graph. So the first thing you need to write down in your notes is this equation for the square root graph. Y equals big square root of x minus h, and then sitting in the back is going to say plus k. I'm going to tell you in a little bit about what each of these h and k numbers stand for in terms of making our equation. Okay, so we've got the equation y equals square root of x minus h plus k. So the square root graph is centered at the origin. Origin, remember, is where your x and y axes meet. It's centered at the origin, so I'm going to start by putting a dot right here. And then it's shaped like an arc, and it goes up and to the right. It's what we call a slow rising arc. So if we were to look at some points, for instance, if I were to make just a really teeny little table, if I were to let x equal 0, here's my equation, and I'm not going to use any h or any k for right now. Here's my equation. If I were to take out x and put in a 0, what is the square root of 0? Still 0. So there's my first order pair, 0, 0. Okay, now if I think about the perfect square numbers that we've talked about a lot this second half of the year, if I were to let x equals 1, 1's our next perfect square. If I do a cut and paste and put in a 1 instead, what is the square root of 1? 1. So if I put in a 1, square root of 1 is 1. And then if I look for one more point, so instead of 5 points, I'm just going to use 3 points to make this graph. If I think about the next perfect square in my list, that next perfect square is 4. So now if I take out the x and put in a 4, how much is the square root of 4? 2. So those would be 3 points that I could put together to make an arc. So just for purposes of you knowing what this shape is going to look like, I made this little table right here. Okay, so the point 0, 0 is right here. The next ordered pair is 1, 1. And the next ordered pair is 4, comma, 2. So I'm going to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. Those are 3 dots that will make up this curve. Okay, so the square root graph is centered at the origin, and it's shaped like an arc. So it starts here, and it goes up and to the right, and it will keep going forever. So we're going to put an arrowhead on the right-hand side. You will have nothing in the back. So do not put an arrowhead back here. Do not have any kind of a tail whatsoever back here. It is one dot, and then from that dot it goes up and to the right. That's our arc. Sometimes we call it, it's shaped like an R. So think about what that R looks like when you make a small letter R. That's that arc that it makes. Okay, now when you do your shifts, if you see a number with the x underneath the square root sign, we are going to move this to the left or to the right, but you need to remember to do the opposite of whatever the sign says. So anytime you have something, here's your arrow, when you have something inside the square root sign with the x-axis, remember, goes this way on your graph. So that says you're going to go to the left or to the right. Do the opposite of what it says. If you have a number sitting in the back, a k number sitting in the back, you are going to move that graph up or down, and you are going to move it the same direction as whatever the sign says. So if it says plus 7, that means you have to move the graph up 7. If it says minus 5, you're going to move the entire graph down 5. And then the center of your curve, no matter what, will be located at the ordered pair HK. HK. So if you don't have any numbers, like this one, when there is no h and no k number, that means the h number is 0 and the k number is 0. That means it was centered at the origin, which is what this one was that I graphed for you right here, centered at the origin. Because there was no h and there was no k, sitting in the back of that equation. If there are numbers sitting in the back, then you're going to plug those in. But remember again, you're going to take the opposite of whatever the h number is that you see sitting there. So if it says minus 5, x minus 5, you have to say plus 5. Okay, so let's see what a few of these are going to look like. What we're going to do is just say the words up or down, left or right, and then we're going to try to draw a really simple graph for these. We're not going to make tables at all, so this should be fairly easy making no tables. Okay, question number 1. Y is equal to square root of x, and then in the back is sitting a plus 4. Now you notice there is not anything with the x underneath the square root sign. That means your h number is 0, comma. In the back it says plus 4. So your ordered pair that you're going to start at is going to be at 0, 4. That means this has traveled up 4 spots. That's that plus sign right there. This one has gone up 4 spots. So I can start at the point 0, 4 with my center of this curve, and then from there, remember, your shape goes up and to the right. This slow arc up and to the right. That would be the shape for question number 1. Number 2, y equals square root of x minus 9. This time again, there is no number with the x, so it does not move to the left or to the right. This one in the back has a minus 9. That means this one shifts down 9 spots. So start down 9 spots. Wait on here. That will be the center, and then you can make your picture going up and out to the right. This way. That center, since there is no h number, is 0, no h number, and k number is negative 9, so there's your center. Okay, question number 3. Y equals square root of x plus 6. Again, we have no number inside the square root sign with the x, which means the h number is nothing, and then sitting in the back is a positive 6. That means this will slide up 6 spots, centered at point 0, 6. So go ahead and go to 0, 6. Put your center, and then out to the right. There's your shape. So that's if you do not have an h number, but you have just the k number, you're going to travel either up or down, going in the same direction as whatever that sign says. Okay, now let's look at some that have a number h with the x value. So remember, this tells us that we are going to either move to the left or to the right, but you have to go the opposite direction of whatever the sign says. So question number 4, y equals square root of x plus 8. This one says plus 8. Do the opposite of plus, which is minus. On the x-axis, minus sign means to go to the left. So you're going to go left 8 spots and put your point. Right on here? There's your center. And then your picture will curve up and to the right. So your h number, opposite of positive 8, is negative 8. There is no plus k number sitting in the back, so it's as if we had a 0. So your center is located at negative 8, 0. Number 5, y equals square root of x minus 5, x minus 5. Okay, so this time underneath the square root sign it says negative 5. You have to do the opposite of that. That's positive 5. And again, we're not doing any k numbers sitting in the back. So this time your center will be located at 5, 0. So start to the right. It says minus, go the opposite of minus, which is plus. Go to the right 5 spots. And then you can make your arc. And then number 6, y equals square root of x minus 3. This one says negative 3. We have to do the opposite of negative. That's positive. Positive means we move to the right. So go to the right 3 spots. And again, nothing in the back. So go to the right 3 with your start. Up and to the right. There's your picture. So that's if you only have an h number with the x underneath the square root sign. Now in this next slide, we're going to have both shifts. So it's going to move either to the right or left, and it's also going to move up or down. All right, number 7, y equals square root of x plus 4. So your first number, do the opposite of plus 4, negative 4. Sitting in the back, it says plus 8, so you're going to take that exact same number, positive 8. So what directional words can we use? If it says plus 4, we have to do negative. Negative goes backwards, so it's going to go left 4, and then it's going to go up 8. That will be your center. So start from the origin and go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But don't put your spot here, just hold your pencil and then travel up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the real center is way up there. Negative 4, 8, and from there you can make your arc. Number 8, square root of x plus 3 and then minus 2. So your center, starting in here, opposite of positive 3. Negative 3. So opposite of plus is minus. That means you're moving left 3. And sitting in the back, it says negative 2. Take the same sign, negative 2. Negative means we're traveling down. So we will travel left 3, down 2 for your center. And from there you can make your arc. And question number 9. Y equals square root of x minus 1 minus 1. Underneath the square root sign, it says negative 1. Do the opposite of that, which means positive. Go to the right 1. In the back, it says negative 1. Negative means down. So we're going to move to the right 1 and down 1 for your center. And make your curve. Okay. I think you should be able to go ahead and do your worksheet. You're just making your picture. This should go fairly quickly. Make your picture of where your graphs are going. Use words if you need to. Up, down, right or left. But each time identify the vertex. Where is it going to be centered? So like we did on each of these, for instance, the center, that's your vertex. Tell me where it's going to start from when we do your pictures on your worksheets. All right, go ahead and we'll see you next time.